I love how porky it is.
It's good feedback. The pork is porky.
It's very porky. It's porking, dog.
Nice. The pork is porking.
From the dive bars in Alice to the honky tonks in Dallas, I'm in Texas, holding it down. This guitar's got its share of dings and scuff marks. No polish on the body or the crown, but it's got something deep inside that lets me sing with pride. I'm in Texas, holding it down.
What's up, guys? It's Coop from Bar-A-BBQ here in Montgomery, Texas, and today we're going to be working on one of my favorite cuts, and that is pork steak. So pork steak is a very, very cheap, relatively quick, easy cook. It's one of my favorite things we do here. We do it every Wednesday. I'm going to show y'all how we do it. It's not the traditional way, more than likely. We're not doing over direct heat. We actually do it on our M&M rotisserie. It's just, we've tried over direct heat, and it's great. We've just found for us it's a little bit easier, and we feel like we get a little more consistent product on the rotisserie. But I wanted to show y'all our process, how we do it, and y'all stay tuned, and we'll get into it. Thanks. All right, guys, so first thing you need to do for a pork steak is get yourself a pork butt. This is just a standard bone-in pork shoulder, butt, whatever you want to call it. It's just the shoulder of the pig. We get these from our distributor. You can pick the same thing up from H-E-B, Kroger, Food Lion, wherever you get pork butt from. I always get about roughly 2 to 3 steaks out of each pork butt. I don't have a big bone saw here. I'm cutting this just with our knife like we do every week. So I can only go as far as that blade allows me to. If you have a butcher and they'll cut it for you, absolutely get them to do it. So I'm looking for roughly about the width of our blade here, our slicing knife, which if you don't have this knife, if you go to our bio, there's a link to our Amazon store, and I have the exact knife tagged in there. We use this for all of our briskets, pork steaks, ribeyes. We use this knife constantly. We're always going through these things. I'm looking for roughly about the width of that blade thickness. And I go until I hit that shoulder blade. I might be able to get 3. I did get 3. So I got 3 steaks out of that. What's left here, guys, we're just going to season up and cook for pulled pork on the menu. So it's not going to waste. If it doesn't go to pulled pork, we use it for sausage. I've got my steaks. Like I said, we're looking for roughly about 1 inch to 1.25 inches thickness. What's nice, though, the way we do this is we actually get a lot of the money muscle. So you get a little bit more of that kind of tender meat on the steak itself. So we will get these bad boys seasoned up, and we'll show you all the next step from there. Stay tuned. All right, so we have these pork steaks cut. We're going to go ahead and get these things seasoned up. Just like we do a lot of proteins here, we're going to use our 16 mesh black pepper and then our Rio Spices seasoned salt. If you don't know where to find this, guys, you can go to riospices.com, reospices.com. They're out of Huntsville, Texas. This is just their seasoned salt. And then if you go and you want their 16 mesh pepper, it's the, I believe it's called just the grind pepper is what they call it. There's ground and then there's like extra ground. This is just the regular ground. If you have questions about that, shoot me a message on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you can find us, Bar-A-BBQ, and we'll get you pointed in the right direction, okay? So first thing, we're going to hit them with a nice layer of pepper. Bad boy seasoned up, and then hit with our seasoned salt. Obviously, season and salt is to your preference. We're probably a little bit saltier than most, but there is a reason why. So we tend to oversalt a little bit, especially pork steaks, as we are going to rest these in just basically a big pot of butter and for service. So that fat from the butter is going to kind of help mute a little bit of that salt out. So always pepper first. That way the pepper can stick and allows that salt to still get in between those bigger grinds. Got these nice and seasoned. We'll kind of flip it over, get all of our sides and the excess. Cool. These are nice and seasoned up. We'll give these probably, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes to kind of let that salt kind of activate and do its thing. In the meantime, I'm going to get the M&M rotisserie fired up. We'll put about 3 or 4 logs in there, let it get lit, and then we're going to crank our temps to about 225 for the first hour. Then we'll bump to about 250, and then probably finish about 275. It's a relatively quick cook. We're looking at roughly 3 to 4 hours on these things. We're going to pull them at a target temp. We're shooting for like 180, somewhere between 178 and like 185. It's not too terribly of a small window, so you don't have to be really, really cautious with it. We'll be checking in about every hour, showing you color, showing you how it's looking, and then we'll get these pulled, sliced open, and show you the end results. So y'all stay tuned, guys. Thanks. All right, guys, these port steaks, they've been sitting out for about 20, 25 minutes now. That salt's starting to activate. They're nice and wet. We've got our M&M set to 225 right now. I'm going to show y'all how we throw some more wood on in the firebox. But first, let's get these things on. So the M&M, how it works, if you're not familiar with rotisserie, you've got kind of 2 heat zones, I guess. So you've got your top rack and then your bottom rack. And in this rotisserie, the 1K, there is 6 different sets. So we have 12 total racks. The lower rack cooks probably about 25 to 30 degrees, a little bit cooler than your top rack. So we always cook our pork ribs and pork steaks on the top rack. They're a little bit quicker cook. And then if we have to do briskets or pulled pork, we always put them on the bottom rack. Cool. So we have them on the top rack here. We're set at 225. Get these doors closed up. And then I'll show y'all how we build the fire to maintain this thing about 250. All right, guys, we got a little bit of the coal bed for the initial fire here. I'm going to take about 3 splits here. This should get us to about 250-ish on the M&M. Going for a real simple, just Lincoln log kind of style fire. I like to want to show them that kind of fire we have built in there. All right, guys, so we have enough coals in there. I know this is going to stay lit and get going. I'm going to close this door down now, let a little bit of smoke kind of get going. And then we'll check back in about every hour or so and kind of show you all the color formation and kind of what we're looking for throughout the cook. Thanks, guys. Cool. All right, guys, it's been about an hour now on the rotisserie. We got this on the top rack. They've been cruising at 225. We just jumped it up to 250. But before we get it back in for an hour, I want to show y'all what they're looking like. You can see we're starting to get a little bit of color formation on them. Bart still quite isn't set yet. These will go probably another 2.5 hours at 250, and they should be temping about 175, 180. So we'll close this back up, keep rocking 250, 260, and we'll see y'all shortly. Thanks, guys. All right, so we fit about that 3.5 hour mark. Let's get in and check these things. I'm going to show y'all where we're probing to check for temps. So we're shooting for somewhere between the high 170s, low 180s. Right in that middle of it there. Or 181 right there. So at this point, we've got our Bart set. Looking for that 180 temp. We're going to get these pulled off. We're going to put them in a 9x13. We're going to pour some melted butter over the top so they're not completely submerged, but about halfway submerged. Let them rest for about half an hour, and then we'll cut into them and show the end product. Okay. All right, so these port steaks are off. We just pulled them off the M&M cooked. Pour some butter over the top of this. We melted. Let them kind of rest in this nice butter bath. It's going to help kind of bland out some of the salt that we put on there. We did kind of over salt it, anticipating that we're going to pour this butter over the top. It'll kind of help with that nice color and shine and sheen to it. And honestly, it's butter. Who doesn't love butter? You're always going to like butter on the dish. So we'll cover these. We'll let these rest for about half an hour. Let them start coming back down momentum-wise. And then we'll cut into it and share the final product. So stay tuned. Thanks. All right, so just a quick recap. So we ran these at 225 for the first hour, and then finished the last several hours at about 250-ish. We cooked these on the top rack of the M&M rotisserie, which runs a little bit hotter than the bottom rack. The main reason we did this today on the rotisserie and not the direct heat pit is I wanted to kind of show something that I think a lot more people, at least around here in Texas, have, which is offset smokers. So just showcasing how we would do this cook on an indirect heat versus doing it direct heat, which I'm not saying this is the right way or the correct way to do this at all. It's just how we do it here at Bar-A. We certainly cook them on the direct heat at times too. It all kind of, for us, depends on space. If we have a catering that day or something, maybe we're in a little tight space on the rotisserie, we can move them over there to the direct heat and finish them over there. There's a million ways to do this. There's not a right or wrong way. I'm just showcasing the way that we do it at Bar-A. This pork steak, we pulled it at 180 in the dead center. We threw it straight into a 9x13 and then covered it in some melted butter. We do that the same thing during service. The butter kind of helps them as they sit in the warmer, not dry out. Adding extra fat is generally never a bad thing. You do have to watch out for potentially blanding out the salt you put on the product. So definitely check your salt levels if you're going to go this route with adding tallow or butter or whatever fat you want to add to the product while it's being held. I want to go ahead and cut into this before it gets too cold. This is my favorite thing we do here. We do them every week at Bar-A. It's every Wednesday. We usually do probably 18 to 20 of these. It's a great buy, guys. If you haven't done this cook, it's a super cheap cook. You can get this at any local grocery store. It's always going to have a pork butter, pork shoulder. I always prefer to go the bone-in route. If you have to go boneless route, it's not the end of the world. You can do it either way. So let's cut into this thing and see how we did. Super moist, super tender. That's so good. I mean, I'll never sit here and say we do anything very well or better than anybody else, because we certainly don't. But you can't come here and order this and not leave here wanting more pork steak. It's just a really, really good bite. It's smoky, it's salty. You get the richness from the butter. It's even better with our barbecue sauce. I love our mustard-based sauce with this cut. That's so good, guys. Again, just to recap, this was a super, super quick, easy cook. I didn't have to showcase a lot on the pit because we really didn't do anything. We just smoked it. We let it sit. We put some logs in the firebox like twice this entire cook. You're just trying to keep temperatures between like 250 and 275. It's not an overly hard cook. If you want less dark of a product, don't put as much smoke on there. If you want it a little bit more darker, put a little more smoke on there. Guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out through Instagram, Facebook, wherever you can find Bar-A-BBQ. If you have any questions about any of the products we used, if there is a link in our YouTube and Instagram bio to our Amazon store. I have all the products that we use here on a regular basis in that store. I know a lot of you ask about the knife sharpener we use. I have that in there, as well as the sharpening pads, replacements for it. The knives we use, if we use it here at Bar-A, it's in that Amazon store. As well as if you go to the other link, which is our Square merch site, all of the hats and shirts that we have, and you see in all of our social media posts, are on that site to purchase, and we will ship them straight to you. I hope you all learned something today. I felt like this video was a little bit shorter. I'm sorry if it felt that way, but it's a really easy cook, guys. There's not much to showcase here. But I wanted y'all to see how we do it here, because we do get asked about it. If y'all have any questions, please reach out to me. We're only here to try and help out and make everybody better at this awesome, awesome thing that we've gotten crazy enough to start here in the world of barbecue. I hope all of you learned something. Enjoy. Please subscribe. Please share. It does help us. Please comment what you want to see next. Y'all take care, and God bless.
Holding it down,